You're listening to the Membership Site Success Podcast, where you learn from successful entrepreneurs how to build and run a profitable membership site so that you too can generate recurring revenue for your business month after month. And now, here's your host, membership site expert, Vic Dorfman.
On today's episode of the Membership Site Success Podcast, I'm very excited and honored to have on Jane Copeland from copingwithjane.com. Jane is somebody that I've done business with for over a year now, I believe. We initially did some contract work together. I did some membership site setup stuff for her, and currently she's a member of my MemberFix unlimited WordPress and membership site support service, and we're always kind of emailing each other, bouncing ideas off each other. Jane is just a really driven, smart marketer, and she's done really, really well for herself in a pretty short amount of time, and she has a lot of really interesting things to share. I think even though her primary audience is women, or that's who she markets to primarily, I certainly take a lot of pages out of her book, seeing the way that her commitment to using sales funnels and her commitment to doing launches and how it's transformed her business has really inspired me. And I think she's going to have a lot of really insightful and inspirational things to share with you. So stay tuned and let's get started. Jane, welcome to the Membership Site Success Podcast. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Hi, Vic. It's so wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. You and I have worked together in various capacities, and I don't know why it only just now dawned on me to invite you on, but you're a very successful marketer and entrepreneur, and I think the listeners are going to get a lot of value out of what you have to share. So maybe you could start off just talking a little bit about yourself and how and why you got into online business.
Yeah, sure. And I guess in the last 2 years, I think we started working together quite a while ago, like maybe it was even 2 years ago. But really my business has really exploded during that time, and you've really helped me with that, or helping me with the tech. So yeah, I guess I got it online in 2011, which was 4 years ago after the birth of my son Elliot. So when I became a mum, and I guess I did that because I kind of wanted, a few reasons. Like, first of all, the typical reason that working a corporate 9 to 7 role just wasn't fitting in with my lifestyle. After I had my son, I just didn't want to go back. And the second thing was that I got really, really sick around the time with an autoimmune disease. So I just was I was housebound for a long time. So anyway, and then I decided to get online, and the first thing that I did was to start a blog, if you like.
Coping with Jane, right?
Yeah, Coping with Jane, that's right. And, I really wanted to start my own business, but I really could not decide what on earth to do it on. So I used to spend, hours and hours Googling, what are the latest or the hottest businesses for women to start? What's the latest and greatest next big thing? Mm-hmm. And I just could not decide. I was going round and round in circles. And then in the end, I just thought, right, I'm just going to go out there and do something that I, enjoy, even though I had no experience with blogging or really in any kind of content. I've always liked writing and branding and stuff like that. So I decided to put everything together or to create this blog, but I had no business plan at that point, I should mention.
What did you start blogging about?
Well, I started blogging about, what happened was around that time, there was I live in Australia, and there was another really, really massively successful online magazine for women that kind of talked about women's stuff from right down from having a baby to dating to everything like that. So I kind of really saw that there was a massive market there, that women really wanted to talk about stuff online. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of what I based where I got my idea from. So mine was kind of like a similar kind of topics, but also based around being a mum and, also, the idea of being able to start your own business and be a mum.
Okay.
So that's what I started my blog off in. And I guess one of the I don't know if you know this, but what happened was, and it's a question that I get asked a lot about all the time, is that I was able to grow really, really quickly. And I started my blog with a lot of well-known celebrities and some of Australia's best writers on my blog as contributors. And people say to me, well, how did you manage to do that? And the answer is that what I did was I basically had a few journalists or celebrities that I used to follow, and I knew that the things that they were passionate about. So I reached out to them and I said, look, I'm creating this online space where you can talk about those sort of things. Would you be interested in being involved? And every person said yes. So, and what happened was that these people had really big followings online. And when they blogged, or when I had an article on my site, their article on my site, and they shared it out on social media, then I had a lot of traffic back to my site. So that's really how I started off building my business. Well, my blog, I should say, because it wasn't a business at that point.
That's interesting. So you basically didn't have any kind of traffic or anything to speak of. You just reached out to people whom you admired and who already had big audiences, and you just invited them to basically guest post on your site.
Yeah, that's what I did.
And you stole their audience. Well, you didn't steal it, but you borrowed it.
Yeah, I did. And this was in 2011. And Twitter was really big at that point. I mean, of course, it still is. I don't use Twitter nearly as much as I did. But so Twitter was really integral in building my audience, because so these people would share the blog post on Twitter, and then all the people would, all their followers would come back. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. And the other thing that I did was I learnt, again, from that other blog that was in Australia, that big online magazine. I was watching what they were doing on Twitter, and I realized pretty quickly the strength of having a magnetic headline and kind of doing that whole link baiting thing. So I became very, very good at writing headlines for the blog posts. So then I would just put them out on Twitter, a few times a day. And I was posting a lot. So I'd have like 3 posts a day. And then that also got people back to my site as well.
And were you building a list right from the beginning?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. The biggest mistake that I made was that I really had no idea about internet marketing. And at that point, I was interested in the publishing model. So I really had no idea about building a list. Yeah, I had an opt-in on my site, but it wasn't until I did B School, Marie Forleo's B School, that I learned the value of capturing leads and a mailing list. So then, although my mailing list was maybe at about 500, I still don't really have a big list. I think my list is only at 7,000 or 8,000 at the moment, but it's very targeted. So it was only after that I really realized the whole value of the list, which is just so important.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the blogging and the content marketing, that just sort of got things moving, but
yeah,
I know a lot of. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, at that point, a lot of people were thinking, oh my gosh, like, you must be doing so well. You've got all this traffic to your blog. And I think I had like 3 ads on my blog, and it was just so funny because I really wasn't making any money at all. I had no idea how I was going to make money. I was making like a couple of $100s a month, if that. I was working very, very hard, and I did not know what to do at all. But the next thing I did was I wrote a book, and that was called Boardroom to Baby. So when I did that I guess I did 2 things to kind of monetize. Like, I could have gone down the path of sticking to a publishing model, and where one of the most important thing was going to be the number of traffic to my site.
Right.
But I just was thinking that would be really, really hard to do, and I really had no one helping me. So I thought there's got to be easy things to do. But anyway, so I did 2 things. I wrote a book, and that really, really put me on the map. I started getting from the book that I wrote. I self-published it, but I don't know why, but people, even at the time, there weren't that many people self-publishing, so it was just went crazy. I was in a lot of media. I was doing a lot of public speaking, store openings, so that gave me a lot of profile, and I
Nice.
still wasn't really earning that much money. And then people started asking me to help them with their own blogs. And that was really the start of when I started to earn good money, was when I became a blog coach, if you could say. So, and I had the reputation of being the fairy blog mother. So, yeah.
Nice. The book that you self-published, was that via Amazon's platform, or did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was. So so I did it through Create Space, which
Okay.
is a place that has print on demand, and it links to Amazon. So therefore, the person can either buy the Kindle version or a hard copy of it.
Hmm.
So yeah, I did that, and my book was called Boardroom to Baby. It was great. So yeah.
Now, just a quick aside here. Marie Forleo, she's sort of the Eben Pagan of the female market, I
Yes,
guess you could say.
absolutely. Yes,
And I know
loved
that,
it.
yeah, she's awesome. She is so smart. She's so professional in her presentation. She's a very good role model, I think, not just for women, just for any online marketer. But
Yes.
what's interesting is that you came up with this name, Fairy Blog Mother, and Eben Pagan. He speaks a lot about naming and the power of a sticky name. How did you come up with that? And was that intentional, or is that just kind of spur the moment?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question. So I really, again at this point, really still did not understand how I was going to turn my blog into a business. But then I started working with a business coach, and she actually said to me, like, well, aren't people asking you about how to create what you have? And I said, yeah. Anyway, so she actually gave me the name and said, well, why don't you call yourself the Fairy Blog Mother?
Ah,
And so that's actually how I got it. But the thing is that, yeah, and it really, what happened was that people, whenever anyone wanted anything related to blogging, my name would get recommended as the Fairy Blog Mother. Now, it's quite different now, but that's how it was at the time. And it really served me well. And so that's really right. Along with naming, like um, the importance of naming is that, is to become known for something.
yes.
So yeah, yeah. So in all the groups, my online groups within B School, because B School has a massive online Facebook group.
Hmm.
If anyone had any queries related to blogging, I was the one who was recommended. So that's how I got my business off the ground.
Yeah, that's how I got my business off the ground too, basically, with the
Really?
membership site go-to
Yeah.
guy.
Actually, that's so true. I think that is how I came across you, because I was in um, Superfast Big Business with James Schranko, and someone recommended you as the membership guy.
Ah, I bet I know who it was too. I bet it was Jules.
It was Jules. Yeah.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah.
very cool. Small world.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's interesting. But, at this point, that's when things sort of started to take a turn for the better, I guess. And,
Yes.
well, let me ask you this. Did you invest quite a bit of money on the coaching and the courses and everything before you actually saw a return on all of that investment?
Yeah. So what happened was, with this particular coach, I met her at this blogging conference in Australia called Pro Blogger, and she said to me that she was $3,000 a month. And I remember when she told me that, I was almost offended. I was like, "Are you serious? There's no way I'm going to pay that much money." I think she was 3,000, or was she 1,500? I can't remember. But all I know is that after one phone call, I really did start making money. But I only paid her, I think it was 1,500 or 3,000. No, it was 1,500 months. So I paid her $3,000. Did it. And worked with her for 2 months. So I had probably invested. I worked it out the other day. So I invested about 15,000, which actually isn't that much, in building my blog and coaching. before I actually saw a return, really, if I'm to be honest. So basically, yeah, that's how much I probably would have spent before I started seeing a return. So I didn't really see a return until about 18 months to 2 years. But then it just
Wow.
started really accelerating, going from six figures to multiple six figures very quickly. So yeah, does that answer the question?
Yeah, that's very interesting because there's a lot of people bootstrapping and they're probably thinking, "Oh, I can't invest 15,000." But you probably don't need to do that necessarily. But
Absolutely not. So what I did was, and again, like I mean, like definitely not. And really, I haven't really worked with that many coaches since, like, you know what I mean? I have not really worked with that many coaches. I'm predominantly self-taught, but the ones that I have worked with have had a huge impact in a positive way on my business. So, but where I did invest was I invested a lot of money into my actual blog. Now, I wanted to differentiate myself by the design, by the complexity of the functionality. You don't need to do that these days. Things have come a long way. So that's where a lot of my costs went. And also some of the clients that I'm working with now are making money immediately, like, and it's fact. So some of my clients are making 30 to $40,000 within the first month without any list, without any, with a very small investment. So I mean, when you get things right, you can do that. I mean, it doesn't happen with everyone, but yeah, it is possible to, to have a bit. You don't need to spend 15,000, I guess, is what I'm saying.
for sure, and I want to.
And also, I should say that when I started my business, I had savings and I was prepared to spend that money. Like I was prepared to spend 20 to 25,000 on pursuing my dreams. You know what I mean?
So it was an
And that's
investment.
Australian. That's not US. That's like Australian dollars.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that, but the Australian dollar, I know it's taking a beating right now.
Oh, it's so bad. It's really bad. That's okay.
Now, okay, one thing I want to ask you about is that when you transitioned to being a blogging coach,
Yeah.
your income wasn't quote unquote passive. It was very much you had to trade your expertise for
Yeah.
money.
That's right. That's right. I did. And yeah, so I think that everyone thinks, yeah, I did. So put it this way, it would have been difficult for me to have done anything else without any following or any kind of understanding of online marketing. So, and I often see people doing that they will create an online program and be chasing this passive income. It's kind of like the holy grail, what everyone wants. But actually, like you need, there are a few, in order for that to have real passive income, like perhaps there could be some other stepping stones that come first. Like, for example, I like to get people working or selling high ticket. This is just the nature of the people that I tend to work with. I know it's different in the internet marketing niche, but like they might be selling a high ticket one-on-one mentoring because that might fund them, to doing other stuff like growing their audience or spending time building that product that they can then leverage.
For sure.
So one of my clients is Nick Toth, and she's a great example of that. So she, like a lot of other female entrepreneurs or who are health coaches, she wanted to sell a $40 product. And she was adamant that she wanted to do that because that's what a lot of people, other women in her space are doing. And that was pretty much the only thing that she thought she could do. But anyway, so that was her goal, was to release this product. But instead, we got her selling out this 6-week program for $2,000 that was the lean body formula. And the end result was that she sold it out very quickly, and then she was able to have a great lifestyle, have the money coming in, and then create the program and then have the leverage. So now she's got the leverage. She's got both products. But, selling the one-on-one, trading that dollars for hours, which people talk about as being a bad thing. Like, we did do that first, so she could then not have to do it, if you like.
Okay, I just want to echo two points that you just embedded in what you just said. One is every super successful client that I work with, 6-7 figure marketers, they all have one thing in common, which is that they price their products and their services, of course, because their time is even more valuable, at a premium. Okay, so none of them are selling anything less than $200. That's the very bottom floor
Yes.
of pricing,
That is absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And the other thing is that consulting is sort of the best segue into an information product, because you really learn your market's pain points. You're interacting with these people. They're telling you, like, look, I have X, Y, and Z problems, and then you can address those in a course later on.
Absolutely. That's so true. That's very, very, very true. Yeah, that's true. And the thing is that people will pay for a premium product, if it's solving their problem. It's never really about, I mean, it's never really about the money, because people, if they want something, they will find a way to buy it or to get it. But I really just don't understand how people make money when they're selling something less than 200. I mean, with Nick Toth, so what we did was, and I experimented with different ways, but we sent cold traffic from Facebook to her sales page for this $50 product. It was $50. And I looked at how the sales were going, and yeah, we managed to make a profit, so, sort of like $50 a day, but she was spending like, 100. So I mean, like, overall the profit was 50, but then so we experimented with other ways. So you can do it, but it's just a lot harder, I think.
Yeah, you just don't have the margins,
That's right. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, let's transition then into that talk. You are really good with Facebook advertising. I know it's something that you've. Do you coach people on this as well, I guess?
Yeah, so I do. Yeah. I used to do it for people, which I didn't even know. I didn't really mean to end up doing it, but I did. I had a service where I was doing their Facebook ads, and they're kind of like setting up their whole funnels and stuff like that, and doing their launches for them. Now I just teach people how to do it. It's really important. I guess it really is incredible that we can. Well, let me say this. I built my business, like I was saying, through social media, okay, which is it worked, but these ways they're a lot faster. And one of those is by paying for your leads through paid traffic like Facebook. I mean, when you think about it, you can get a lead for anywhere from between 80 cents to, let's just say $4, which is really cheap when you think that lead might turn into, like in my case, a $5,000 sale, or even if it's going to be a $200 sale, it's totally worth it if you know what you're doing. So yeah, Facebook advertising is just so important. And I wanted to tell the listeners that I am, and you know this, Vic, a little bit challenged when it comes to anything technical, and I don't have anyone helping me. I am completely self-taught, and I really struggle with it. But I don't like numbers. I don't like looking at analytics and all of that stuff, but I can do it quite well. So if I can do it, anyone can do it. And I made a really big mistake in the initial 18 months of my business, where I really didn't want to get my hands on the tools. But now that I really am quite hands-on or understand it, it's really quite freeing. It frees you up. So I really recommend that everyone, who wants to build their business using online marketing, at least try give Facebook marketing a shot. Okay. I mean, again, you need to know what you're doing, but it's not, with the right training, it's definitely achievable for anyone, I think.
Okay. And so if you're paying for traffic, I guess the good thing is, if you know what you're doing, you can scale pretty much indefinitely. Well, your campaign might run out eventually, because there's only so many people in a given interest group or in a given, however you're targeting, right? But you can find other campaigns, other profitable campaigns. And one thing that you're really big on, and you talk about this in your marketing materials, and pretty much all marketers are big on this, is sales funnels. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, yeah. I think
Can you have a go at that one?
yeah. So, look, I think also the whole concept of sales funnels, it's almost like I think the male online marketers are more familiar with that, and the females are just getting on board because it's kind of like to us, it doesn't sound very cool or sexy, but really all it means is that there's a process where that allows you to bring leads into your business consistently that ends up in a sale. So for me, what that looks like is I like to set up my sales funnels through Facebook. So we might do, it could be whatever it might be too. It could be for a webinar, for a free giveaway, for whatever, but you get them, you put an ad out there, get a person onto your list, and therefore you put them through a process that results in a sale, whether that's doing a launch or whether it's just an email sequence, whatever it is. But that essentially is a sales funnel. So, and I guess the beauty is that you can automate these things.
Yes.
And it works really, really well. So say with me, Vic, I whenever I have my sales funnel going for web celeb formula, I get sales in, but I need to get that working, but because I generally don't even have that working, but because I'm focusing on more high-end programs, but they're really really effective, and yeah, it's all automated. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and the nice part about sales funnels too is because it really tangibly breaks down each component of your sales process. So you have your ad, right? And you can optimize your ad and increase the click-throughs and the conversion and decrease the cost you're paying for a lead, okay? And then in the next process, which is people coming onto your opt-in page, onto your squeeze page, you can look at your conversion rates there and say, okay, I'm at 10%, let's get it up to 12%. And all of these little minor details, you know, they all add up to a lot more money in your pocket, basically.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, you know, like when I first started, I wasn't looking at those conversion rates as nearly as much as what I do now. And I think that's important to say because it might scare people. I know that if I was hearing this conversation when I was starting out and hearing conversion rates here on the opt-in page, all this stuff, that would completely freak me out. Like now it's completely normal. And yeah, I look at those things, but probably because I'm not that technical or mathematically minded, I probably should be looking at that even closer. I mean, I do look at it, and I just say that because you don't have to be an expert at it to, or have an expert understanding of that to have some really great results, you know?
For sure. Like looking at that stuff isn't sexy, but I'll say too, if people are scared off from that, when you see, you know, thousands of dollars in your PayPal account or whatever it is, and then you realize that if you increase your conversion rate by 2%, you're going to be making an extra, you know, $1,000 a month, you will get really interested real quick.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly.
Okay, so
I should probably do that a bit more.
Okay, so let's talk about just a quick sort of aside. Your market is women.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious if there are any kind of, you know, unique challenges or even advantages to doing business with, you know, specifically with women, teaching women, that maybe the women listening to or even the men listening can learn from that particular segment of the market.
Yeah, well, I guess it's that. Well, just I won't say where that. I mean, this is such a generalization, but just with the technology, I guess I'll answer that question by saying, being a female entrepreneur, I have one of the struggles that I've had is sort of, or one of the is around the technology, which is why I have you helping me. But that's sort of something that I you know, that I think all the female entrepreneurs might have had issues with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Although that really wasn't your question, was it?
Oh no, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah. So what did you want to know? Like, what is unique to this? Okay. Well, one thing that I'm seeing is that there are a lot of coaches in this space, a lot, especially um, a lot of health coaches, and it's just such a growing industry, you know? And that really what's happening is that there's all these people that, or women who are coming out of becoming coaches, but that they don't, they really don't have much of an understanding in online marketing. Um, so yeah, I think there's a big opportunity there for training in that space as well. And also, you know, women, because women are now, realizing that this whole world of online marketing and online businesses is opening up to them, then we're all quite hungry for services that are related to that space, because, you know, such as like yours around membership sites, and, you know, because we kind of do want to do it ourselves as well. So lots of products in that space are also appealing to the market itself.
Yeah, for sure. You know, the kind of the beauty of the age that we live in is that the internet makes success available to everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, if you're a felon, if you're a degenerate gambler, if you're a womanizer, whatever your private life or your background is, it doesn't matter, because you can put all that aside and put some value out into the world and get value back, which I think is absolutely beautiful, because it's like a second start for a lot of people. You know?
Oh, I know. And what you've just said, I mean, that is like so exciting. It's really incredible, because it used to be that you had to be a multinational company or have the, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars to be able to afford to advertise on TV or on billboards.
Yep.
And now anyone has that same power, that we can reach our customers directly. And that's also why I'm a massive fan of Facebook marketing. And also I know there's YouTube and other ones, but, you know, you can really find, or, you know, be directly in contact or find that your ideal customer,
Yeah.
you know, because of the level of targeting that you can get down to with the likes of Facebook, you know, and we can market them. We can show that we're relevant to them and get in front of them, you know. It's amazing.
Now, okay, the one thing about this podcast and just about business in general is that you get the one-off sales, which are nice. It's nice to get a pop of cash, but the real name of the game is recurring revenue, because you want to be able to sort of look at your stats and know that next month, plus, you know, give or take, you're going to earn, you know, X amount, thousands of dollars, hopefully.
So true. Yeah, very, very true.
So on that note, can you sort of talk about how you segued from doing trading time for money to creating these business assets, these courses, and how you incorporate a subscription model into your products?
Well, I've only been really, you know, a true multi-six-figure business owner for the last 2 years. So it's all kind of new to me as well. And what you're saying is my ultimate goal. And I'm in the process of making that happen. So how I'm making that happen is that I guess I've got multiple income streams, where at the moment I've got a high-end program, right, that runs for 3 months. Now, next year, I may turn that into a year-long program where I would have that annuity income coming in every 12 months. Now, currently how it works is at the end of that program, then people have the option of continuing on a sort of a subscription basis.
This is Business Made Beautiful, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's right. So, so my idea was that I wanted to have some kind of long-term membership annuity income, like exactly what you're saying. So that's really the start of that. So I'm starting to do that. The other thing that I want to do is to be having multiple products being released regularly and have them on evergreen funnels. That's sort of happening now, but not really. Not, you know, it's only just starting to happen. So what I'm finding is that, and probably what other people would find if they do start going from, well, you know, 6 figures to multiple 6 figures, is that there's all these other issues that come up. Like now that I'm trying to grow my business, and it's really just well, I've got about a team of 5 part-time people, but really it's just me. It's that, yes, I know that I should be doing all these things, but putting them all in place and making it work like a well-oiled machine is that next phase for me. So, while I know that the annuity income is ideally where I want to go, I'm sort of figuring that out for myself now.
I hear you. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I found, and with any kind of subscription model, if you want to scale it, okay, like MemberFix, for example, you have to put all these processes into place that
Yes.
if you hand this off to your team and you go on vacation or you just disappear for the weekend or whatever, things don't fall apart in your absence. And that is really freaking hard to get that down.
Oh, I'm so glad that you've said that because I've really just been through that myself. I'm currently in the process of launching my program, Business Made Beautiful, and it really is. If I've spent like the last month putting in place all these solid processes and systems so that program can scale. It's a high-end program, so it's $5,000, but still, and it's been like it. You're right. It's been a real effort to put them all in place and frustrating at times. But the good thing is that it's done now, and my business can scale. But yeah, that whole idea of the systems processes in order to scale is just something that I've really had to get my head around. That is like, a new, I guess that new level of thinking for me, because it's not just, I find that when you're growing to this kind of level, it's not enough just to be good at what you do, but then you kind of start having all these other business issues like this, what we're talking about, the processes, systems, how to scale the team, all this sort of thing. And I actually, to be honest, like when I started my blog and even when I was, a coach, the Fairy Blog Mother, I really didn't have an understanding that this is what it would end up like, that there would be this constant learning and up-leveling of your knowledge.
Yeah, you wanted that 4-hour work week. I know I did.
I did. I'm still waiting for that to happen.
Yep,
it's like,
me too.
I've got to learn something new. You've got to keep going high. But that's like, if I wanted to just stay at 6 figures, then that would be fine. I wouldn't be needing to deal with these other stuff and the challenges. But that's the thing. You just want to keep going further and further. Keep empire building.
For sure. I mean, why not, right? You only get one life. You want to be able to drink nice wine, travel to nice locations. Why the heck not?
I know. Well, that's the goal, isn't it? That's the goal. Yeah.
Now one thing I want to ask you about is, do you still do live events? Speaking of wine drinking.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. So I did. I have done a few, and they've all been really successful. So, and I'm thinking about what I should do in that space if I keep going along with it. I think that it's a massive opportunity. In Australia, they're not as big as they are in, say, other countries, in maybe London or definitely the States.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that I'm going to keep doing them. Definitely, yeah. I really enjoyed doing the last one that I did. It's like, yes, I do think it has been instrumental in growing my business, because it creates a lot of hype. People get to meet you in person. It really looks good branding wise. So with the last event that I did, it was a kind of like with Business Made Beautiful, people got that. And also I sold a few tickets to the public. So I think there was about 50 people there.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing was that I got so much leverage out of it because I filmed it, which I then sold as a product.
Uh-huh.
But I had a photographer there, which was just brilliant. And now I'm using them for my current launch and to sell the next round of it. So it kind of has all these multifaceted advantages. And what I did was I had someone helping me with the organization. So I had an event coordinator who was very reasonable as well, surprising. And and it went really, really well. And the thing is also that with this, I actually had as the speakers my previous clients. So I think that's also, it's really good at creating that community, of collaboration as well. And, it's almost like you're creating a movement as well by having this event.
Yeah, and that's a huge way to legitimize your expertise. If you had clients or you had members of your programs who used the information that you taught them, became successful with it, and then are so successful that they're coming back to share what they've learned in their journey, that's, that speaks volumes about you and what the work you're doing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's really like, I also think that it's important because when you've got an online business, you spend a lot of time at home or, by yourself behind a laptop. And I think that people just wanted to come out from behind their laptops and actually interact with other like-minded people,
Yeah, for
It was
sure.
great. Even though my market is women, I had some men there as well. And actually, one of the men that did my program is actually now one. I've taken him on as an employee. So, yeah. Anyway, so there were a few guys at the event as well.
Oh,
I'm
really?
sure they loved it being with like all these women. But yeah,
Yeah, why didn't I get an invite?
I know. Oh my gosh. Yes, you can come to the next one and speak.
Okay, well, just one more question about the live events before we move on.
Yeah.
I'm curious for selfish reasons because I've been considering putting on some live events and speaking about membership sites and consulting topics.
Yes.
And
Yes.
how do you sort of get into that space, and how do you get people to your events and charge for it, etc.?
Yeah. Well, one tip that someone told me a while ago, which really does work, is it's always good if you can have an event or when you're running an event with something that's topical. So date-wise. So for example, the first event that I did it to celebrate International Women's Day. And that completely sold out. I think I had 100 people there. I mean, I only sold the ticket for $65, but it was just, I made it out to be like a big celebration, and I put what I was talking about, which was turning your idea into a business, into that whole women's theme. So I don't know, like if there's anything coming up that you can tie your event into, that's topical, I think that's good. You really need to do a whole launch campaign for it, and you need to start selling it minimum 6 weeks out. So I've done it a different way. So I've just done an event, and sold it separately. Or the last one, I've had it as part of another program.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think you can do either way. But the main thing is that I don't really think that unless you've got a massive following and people know you, that you can kind of put an event out there and advertise it and get bums on seats. I think that you really need to have a following or a list or people who know you and then advertise to them. I think it would be a lot easier to do it that way than going out there on Facebook ads with an event, that sort of thing. I think also that my feeling is that, depending on what part of the world you live in, that it's the events are more popular, or even like, smaller events are popular, and also how much you can price. So I think in Europe and the States, that having VIP days and also doing different events is a lot more popular than, say, outside of, around Australia. You can still do them though, but yeah.
Okay, very interesting. That might be a good info product to create, how to do live events, how to profit with live events.
Yes, exactly. I mean, in Australia, there seems to be a few players that are really kind of who hold most of the market. Like there's about 3 of them, and that's really it, sort of thing.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I see. Okay, so I guess we're kind of over the hill here. We've talked about most of the kind of important things about your business. And one thing I always like to ask is, what tools and or services have you found to be really instrumental in your business? I know you recently switched to Infusionsoft. Maybe you could talk about your experience with that.
Yeah. So basically, I think that's absolutely a fantastic question. So first of all, I'd have to say lead pages.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, it's my favorite tool. I really don't know what I would have done without that. And also Facebook. I don't know if you call that. Yeah, also my membership site and having you to support me, that's integral to my business. So I'm using Optimize Press 2 with Digital Access Pass and you to manage all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really, really important. And also, I've only recently got onto a more complex email system like Infusionsoft. I have run my whole business from MailChimp successfully for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And I can't really comment too much on Infusionsoft because I've only just got on there, but I really wanted to say that you really don't necessarily have to be paying an arm and a leg for your email system to have a successful business. I mean, at some point you will be getting a more sophisticated email system, but when you're starting out, or even when you're unless you want to do really complex things, I don't really think that you necessarily need it. I don't know. What do you think?
And MailChimp is pretty good for automation. It has pretty complex automation stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I went on Infusionsoft because I'd reached a certain income level and I thought it was almost like the thing to do.
Yeah.
And I kind of blindly did it because everyone was on there. But actually, I'm not really sure that was the right decision. It might be. I'm just not sure yet.
In my experience, just to sort of give my perspective on Infusionsoft, is the thing to do, and some people do it a little bit earlier than they should because Infusionsoft is a huge system. If you go to Barnes and Noble or a bookstore and you buy an Infusionsoft book, the thing is like half a foot thick.
Really? Oh my gosh. So yeah, see, the thing is that what I promised myself that I was like, because I have been hands-on in my business, and like you were talking about before about the whole concept of scaling and things like that, I really did not want to be as hands-on with Infusionsoft and as I have been across every other aspect of my business. But yeah, I mean, I'm just not sure that it's needed. And the other thing is that there are other systems, comparable systems that are cheaper and potentially easier to use, things like ActiveCampaign and just other things that I'm really not sure. And everything is becoming easier to use, like membership sites and everything. So I'm just not sure. The jury's still out on that one because it is expensive, Infusionsoft.
You know what I found with my clients who use Infusionsoft and really feel like they're justified in their expense is they're using a lot of the offline marketing features. They're collecting phone numbers, they're collecting addresses, they're sending out mailers, and they're tracking all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's pretty next level stuff, so.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's good for marketing automation, isn't it? But then I guess it's like how much. I thought I would be doing a lot of automation, and I'm doing a little bit, but potentially not as much as could be done.
Right. Mm-hmm. And your email deliverability has suffered a little bit as well, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. So I actually tested that out just last night. So I sent out an email using MailChimp, and the deliverability was a lot better.
Oh, man.
So yeah, I don't want to bag them out too much because I don't have enough information to comment, but I really don't understand how an email company can have issues with deliverability. And I also found out that they don't do mobile responsive emails. Like you have to do a fix for that. And I'm just like dumbfounded that is the case. I should have done more research, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shouldn't say too many bad things.
We'll get it worked out.
I hope so.
Okay, so I guess the last kind of question I want to ask you, I kind of just want to give you the mic, so to speak, and say, I don't know, say what you want to say to folks listening, advice, one profound piece of advice from Jane that that they could take away,
Yeah, well, I guess it's that it is possible to build the business and lifestyle of your dreams. It really is possible. If you know what you're doing and that the tools are there. And yeah, and just to keep going, one thing that I see is it's not about how technical a person is or if they've got a marketing background or anything like that. Although, it does help if you've got an understanding of those things, but it's really about the sense of urgency that they have and their determination.
Mm-hmm.
For me, when I see people breaking through, that is more than ever the qualities that they have. And I believe also in my case that, that's what happens. If you really want it to happen, it will. I know that sounds a bit woo-woo.
No,
whatever,
not at all. That's not woo-woo at all, because you had a child, you had this health issue. You either had to make it happen or you were screwed.
That's it. I just thought, this is it. Otherwise, I may as well, be dead. I was like, this has to work. I have to make this work. Otherwise, I will not be able to, continue on with my life. That's how I thought about it. So, yeah. And I think also that, the fact that I'm really not technically minded at all and was used to having everything done for me before, like I had to do everything myself online and everything. Yeah, it's like, if I can do it, anyone can, really. I'm not particularly, how do I say, not particularly gifted or smart or anything like that. It's like, I just have determination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a great message.
Oh, thanks, Vic. And thank you for all your wonderful help. That's the thing. It's like, if you come across people who can help you on your entrepreneurial journey, you kind of grab onto them and you don't let go, because they're the ones that will really help you and elevate you up,
Yeah, absolutely. The whole cliche of you're the 5 people or however many people are in your little tribe, that you surround yourself with, that you're the average of those people, that's cliche for a good reason. There's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah, exactly. I think so. Yeah. Part of that is mindset.
All right. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to add to wrap up?
I think that's it. Thank you so much for all your wonderful questions. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thanks so much. This is, I think, one of the most fun interviews I've ever done. It was really organic, good vibes. It was really fun.
Oh, awesome. I'm so happy to hear that.
Wasn't that scrumptious? Thanks for listening to the Membership Site Success Podcast with membership site expert Vic Dorfman. For oodles of free tips, tricks, and tutorials on crushing it with recurring revenue, go to www.vicdorfman.com. It's what all the cool kids do, and you do want to be cool, don't you? See you next time.